Hello there everyone. Guys, I'm still a bit sick, but I had to create this huge, humongous update and discuss whether Bitcoin is actually gonna crash from where it's standing right now, or whether the pump is going to continue. So for us to understand this, we need to understand what is happening in terms of macro, in terms of on-chain, in terms of technicals, and then we can make a conclusion. I'm gonna give you my price predictions at the end of this video, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm gonna be doing personally. So and before we get into this juicy stuff, let me quickly remind you that I'm doing currently an Easter sale with a 50% off on all of my trading learning programs, and it's a huge 50% discount on my trading education, which is certified and accredited to teach you how to day trade, scalp trade, swing trade, as well as long-term invest. And the markets are crypto, futures, stocks, even forex if you're crazy enough to trade forex. So, and you're going to be learning about fundamental analysis, technical analysis, on-chain analysis, and have and develop the view that I personally have to the market, and including also the understanding of surrounding aspects of trading, like trading psychology, risk and money management, also proper trading statistics and algorithms, and all of the things that I personally use that makes me successful compared to other traders. And right now, there is only 3 days left on this offer. There is a link to it down in the description of this video. And right now, actually, guys, there's only 17 seats left. So with this kind of a huge discount, we actually sold off almost all 500 seats. So today it is going to probably sell out today. So go join us right now if you're not one of my students. And at the time when you complete the final exam, we will also get a certified diploma, certified by CPD, as well at the end of your studies. Okay, let's just jump straight into this. Just wanted to do the quick announcement. And first, let's talk about Ethereum. I know that a lot of you are into ETH. And just to put your mind at ease, that actually, because everybody was waiting for the Shanghai upgrade so that Ethereum would be possible to unstake, and everybody was worried that, it would dump dramatically. And I did a video about this. I did tell you that even if it's gonna dump, it's not gonna dump like crazy. So I told you this before. So call me Mr. Spot On, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're always notified when the good information is uploaded. So and basically what we're seeing right now, as ETH actually was, the unstaking was enabled, what happened, look at the pump, $2,100. So we're coming up on this very important resistance at 2,164, which is just this edge of this order block in general, and we had some confirmations here. So we can expect some short-term resistance, but this is quite crazy, guys. This pump of ETH is absolutely sublime. And the thing is that right now we have more people, as you can see here, staking and depositing than actually withdrawing. So this in general, so what does it have to do with Bitcoin? So this video is about Bitcoin, but this just shows that a lot of people were really worried about what is going to happen because of Shanghai upgrade, because Ethereum is a big part of the whole crypto ecosystem. And this just shows how positive it is. So this is just the first positiveness, but quite frankly, the positiveness of this video kind of is going to start fading away with this data. So before we go back and talk about Bitcoin, let's talk about macro and what we are seeing right now and what people are celebrating that they shouldn't be celebrating. So for one, US bankruptcy filings by the year. In 2023, we can see that this is actually orange is the rest of the year, and the green one is year to date through March 31st. And right now we have a record level. Only time when we had more bankruptcies was in 2010. So we're going to see a lot of bankruptcies this year, and it's not looking very good for the economy. Understood? Okay, let's move on. Now we're also seeing that the deepest net short positions on S&P 500 futures since 2011. Remember this stuff? Okay, now let's move on. Here, the hedge fund billionaire Paul Singer of Elliott Management, he's saying that he thinks a deep recession and credit collapse will be necessary to purge financial markets of excess created by more than a decade of easy money policies. I think that this is extraordinarily dangerous and confusing period, Singer told the Wall Street Journal in a recent interview, warning that trouble in the markets may only be getting started a year into Federal Reserve's rate hikes. So this is what is going to be very important, guys. Credit collapse, although terrible, is not as terrible as hyperinflation in terms of destruction upon societies, whatever. So remember this stuff. about recession and inflation. Now, UBS predicts tighter oil market, higher prices due to OPEC's production cuts. And we've already seen that actually oil keeps going up, and it's not looking very good because we were celebrating because we went down to $65 a barrel just to skyrocket back to 84. This affects inflation. And the thing is, this is also a part of the dollarization, and that, the rest of the world is just starting to fight back the dollar. And in general, like Saudi Arabia and OPEC actually cutting production. And the only reason, by the way, why we're still not at like something like $100 per barrel, the reason is very simple, and that is because the US has released some oil reserves underlying, saying that it's because of the underlying crisis and just not because of the higher prices, which is bullshit. We all know this. So anyway, and so for now, they're actually sustaining the higher oil price. But once they actually, they cannot do this forever. And OPEC is no friend of US anymore, so it seems. So for now, this is also something we have to keep in mind. Now, the next thing is Warren Buffett, and he says that we are not through with the bank failures yet. And guys, before we continue, remember, if you want an exchange that you can trust, then use my exclusive link down in the description of this video to Bybit. And if you use it, then you can actually claim up to $30,000 initial deposit bonuses. Also, if you deposit and maintain a deposit of more than $100, you'll be automatically entering into a Rolex giveaway, and we're going to be flipping it to another watch soon. I'm going to announce it in one of my upcoming videos. And also, all deposit users get access to my crypto signals community for absolutely free. And just Bybit in general is very safe. It's one of the biggest exchanges out there that doesn't have any stupid FUD about it. So I personally use Bybit. You've seen me take all the biggest trades on Bybit. So again, if you want to join and also support the channel, then use my link down in the description of this video. So let's move on back to this very juicy stuff. And Warren Buffett says that we're not through the bank failures just yet. And this actually right here is a very good illustration of what he means, because this is the monthly change in banking deposits since 73. This is basically, by the way, when Nixon took off a US dollar off of the gold standard. And right now, look at this candle. You cannot really, this is a bar, it's not a candle. So this candle, this is the hugest ever withdrawal we're seeing from the banks by people. Imagine how crazy this is. Imagine how much money needs to be printed. Imagine how many banks out there are currently secretly insolvent. It's unbelievable. This just illustrates how bad the situation is. And Warren Buffett is very right, so he's just spilling the beans. Now let's move on to this. Because of all of it, Fed expects the banking crisis to cause a recession this year. So this is what the Fed minutes have actually shown. But you're gonna say, Thomas, we're seeing the reduction in inflation, so it's all great and all beautiful. CPI has gone down to 5%. We're currently seeing the PPI, which PPI is also very important, and actually it's gone down from 10% all the way down to 2.7, which is great, beautiful. But yes, but guys, inflation is going down, so it's positive. It's very nice. That's why we're seeing some equities actually rallying. But the problem here is not this anymore. I think that the narrative could be shifting towards this right here. And look, this is the unemployment. This is the economy. This is the backbone of economy, of people having jobs. And the unemployment is starting to go up quite quickly. And remember, I told you so many times, if this continues, this trajectory, and we're going to see a huge spike in unemployment like we've seen in 2007, 2008, and every single time, almost every single time before a recession actually hit, this is the most worrying sign of everything that I'm showing you right now. So, and now to also add insult to the injury, is, so certainly if we're going to have a huge recession, if everything is going to dump, etc., then, it's not good for any market. But we're going to discuss it in just a second. So I'm going to give you my opinion in just a second. So let's cover this last piece of data before we make the conclusions, rational conclusions. So FTX is currently considering using creditor money to restore the crypto exchange, which is quite crazy already, right? So the FTX court hearing live, so there was the update. So they actually recovered 7.3 billion in assets at currently, and the value is like 2 billion in cash, 4.3 billion in crypto, 300 million in securities, 600 million settlements and investment receivables. So basically, why this spells trouble for crypto is because if they actually proceed with the bankruptcy proceedings, they will have to be dumping $4.3 billion worth of crypto. Like, for example, Solana could not even survive with its current daily liquidity, considering how much Solana could be held by FTX. So this is spelling trouble for some smaller coins and also for crypto space in general. However, guys, You know, just to sum up, we're seeing a very huge potential actually for a massive collapse, a huge reset. Because remember, once the recession actually hits, this is when we have this last huge leg down. But in this instance, will Bitcoin suffer just as much as S&P 500? And quite frankly, considering, let me just quickly find this once again, considering this thing right here, when people are pulling their money out of the banking system, and we're saying, let's take a look at Bitcoin. We're actually currently approaching $31,000, the best performing asset this year, with a return of 100%. You know how much money has flown already into Bitcoin to make this return? Imagine how much of the money is actually coming from right here. So considering this, even if we're gonna see a huge, and this is the most important climax part of this video, so even if we're gonna see a huge collapse in S&P 500, like something down to 3,000 points or 2,500 points, or, you know, huge recession because of what we're seeing right now, and potentially the beginning of a recession, a narrative changing from inflation to actually recession. So considering this, I would be still very comfortable with my Bitcoin position, simply because of the distrust in the banking system. Certainly will, if everything collapses like crazy, like everything we've just described here, because of all these metrics. Certainly, Bitcoin is probably not going to go to $100,000. It's probably going to stagnate just because of the liquidity issues, etc. However, in my opinion, I think that at this point, with this kind of momentum, even if we're gonna retest something like 20,000, I would be extremely surprised. And I wouldn't be surprised if everything collapses and this just actually keeps going down, and all of that money keeps pumping into Bitcoin, and therefore we're gonna be seeing more and more Bitcoin dominance, because all this new money coming to crypto that used to be naysayers, they're gonna be going into Bitcoin because they don't understand anything else, and it's gonna later on also fuel a huge altcoin rally. But this is something we're gonna talk about later on as well, of course. So guys, you do what you want, but I keep accumulating Bitcoin like crazy, and this is probably one of the best times of my life, even if we're gonna say some kind of a short-term pullback, because historically, whenever we saw huge rallies, we also saw some kind of consolidations, pullbacks. It's always normal. I mean, it just doesn't always go in straight line. We have some small pullbacks. So this is what we're gonna expect here as well. But just in general, the fact that we actually are breaking 30K right now, 30K has been so incredibly important for us, guys, that actually it is basically flipping us back to bullish momentum and back to bull market momentum, just technically. So you guys do what you want. Join me, become one of my students immediately with this Easter sale. Again, offer.tomscrollo.com, link down in the description of this video. Again, so just a few seats left, literally. So if you wanted to join and become one of my students, now is your chance. And as always, peace and love. Thomas Scrollo, stay smart, stay rich, because if we're part of this, we will be rich. All right. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.